want to tell you guys something I'll share with our leaders this morning, and this is important. Intimacy requires proximity. I'm going to say that one more time. Intimacy. Intimacy describing or defining a close relationship, right? Requires proximity. Jesus wants us close. He wants us close. And I'm gonna give you some verses to help you to understand better how that works. And I want to take you back to Mark chapter 1. And we're going to read about a story about a man who, because of things in his life, had created a distance from Jesus. And he was broken because of it. And his life was horrible, and it was about to end because of it. But I want you to see how Jesus responded and what it took to bring that guy back to a place of healing, to a place of wholeness. We're going to be looking again. It's in Mark chapter 1. And we're going to be looking at verse 40. So there was a man with leprosy who came to Jesus and begged him on his knees, "If you are willing, Jesus, you can make me clean." Jesus was indignant, and he reached out his hand and he touched the man. Everybody say proximity. He reached out and he touched the man. "I am willing," he said. I want to stop there one more time. Last week I told you guys something, Brandon. You know, that statement there, "I am willing." A lot of us don't have a problem understanding that God is great. LaShawn, when you look outside and we look at the planets and the solar systems and the trees and all the cool creation and all that stuff, it's easy to get people to believe, yes, God is great. He can do great things. But sometimes it's a little bit hard to understand this, Barbara, or to teach people that God is good. The leper fell before Jesus' feet. And he said, "If you will, make me clean." He was asking Jesus to touch it. His diseased body. Touch his brokenness. You know, a lot of us, Chris, I can't even high-five my neighbor without having to reach around and get some of that what is it? Thank you so much. Hand sanitizer. I'm a freak like that. And here's Jesus touching the man with leprosy all over his skin. He said, "If you're willing," and Jesus said, "I am. I am a good, good Father. I am willing." You see, leprosy was a disease that, especially now there's a cure for it these days, but in those days, Ian, there was no cure for it. And basically, once you got leprosy, you were just going to die. The horrible part of that disease was not just the fact that it would kill you, but one of the things that it would begin to do is systematically take away everything important in your life. You know, one of the first things that it did, and especially culturally in these days, it required that you had to stay at least 50 feet away from everybody. When people came around, you had to shout out, "Unclean! Unclean!" How does that impact your relationships? Rodney, what if you had to stay 50 foot away from Wes? What if you could never get close to him again? Amen. What a horrible thing, right? And one of the things that I want us to understand is we do the same thing. We kind of get the same thing in our life with the decisions that we make, with the choices that we make. You see, Timmy, the devil understands this concept that we're teaching this morning. He doesn't want you to know it, but he knows it very well. And so, Chad, what the devil's going to do, he's going to put all his resources into creating distance between you and Jesus. I need you to get a hold of this because this is serious, guys. Joan, he's going to do everything he can to get you away from your source of hope, from your source of encouragement. He's going to get you away from your healing. He's going to get you away from your joy. He's going to get you away from those things. And, you know, for this man, he used a physical ailment. He used leprosy. For some of us, he uses pride. Some of us, he uses fear. Some of us, he'll use those good things. Right? It's not all bad, right? There's a lot of those good things. You know what? I can get so caught up in my career at Mosaic, which is a good thing. I'm taking care of my family. My son's got clothes on, praise God. He's going to go home and he's got a refrigerator with food in it, praise God. That's a good thing. But guess what, Marianne? If that becomes more important than Jesus, that can begin to build a distance. Now the problem is, the further I get away from Jesus, just like that leprosy, I begin to lose my ability to feel. I begin to lose my ability to love. I become numb. That's what the devil wants to do. He wants to make you numb, where you don't realize what's going on. Right? How many of you guys have gotten into a situation and it's a real sinful situation? It's not testimony time. You guys don't have to spill your guts in front of everybody. But how many of you guys have found yourself at that point? You're like, oh my gosh, how did I get here? By show of hands. You know, there's a saying that, and I've never tried it, but I guess it's a scientific fact, that Chad, if you put a frog into a boiling hot pan of water, you know what he's going to do? He's going to jump out. But if you take a frog and you put him in lukewarm water, and Priscilla, if you bring him to a slow boil, you know what he'll do? He'll stand there and die. It's that slow death. And that's what happens is we get separated from Jesus by these things that we allow. We get separated from that relationship. That thing that Jesus said is most important to us. Our source of strength, our source of hope, our source of direction. We get separated from that, and then all of a sudden we begin to lose our ability to feel. And just like that leprosy, you know what happens, Tommy, is, they would get a cut. Or they would burn themselves, and because they couldn't feel it, man, it would go untreated, and it would, I'm not going to get super gross with y'all, man, but stuff would begin to fall off. They would lose hands and feet and toes and fingers and noses and ears. Their extremities would begin to fall off of their bodies because they had lost their ability to feel. They didn't even know what was happening. And Kitty, that's what happens to us, man, when we allow that. Like I said, those lepers, they had to stay 50 foot away from everybody. It's like we stay like that 50 steps away from Jesus. We're just such a distance from him. Now we can't feel anymore. And all of a sudden, there's things in our lives that are being damaged because of that. And we don't know about it. We've got relationship problems with our wives, with our husbands, problems with our children. We've got relational issues, and we're just numb. We've lost our ability to feel. We've lost, in some ways, our ability to care. And then those things begin to fall off. And systematically, the enemy begins taking away everything good in our life. He'll use addiction to separate. He'll use lust. Anything he can use to create that sense of shame and that sense of ugliness, that sense of uncleanness that makes us want to say, I can't get near you, Jesus. Look who I am. I'm dirty. I'm not worthy. Would you mind coming over here, Derek? So I want you guys, we're gonna do a little illustration here. And I want you guys to envision that afternoon when there was a man. You need some help. It's not easy being Jesus, brother. Thank you. You know, that man had come to a point where maybe some of you guys are this morning. Where you said, you know what, I'm tired of the loss and the pain of my life. I'm tired of the brokenness of my life. I'm tired of not being able to feel anymore. And in the same way that this leper, he was willing to break the rules. You know what would happen, Marianne? You're a biblical scholar. You know, if he were to get close to people, they'd kill him, wouldn't they? It was against the law in his shape to try to get close to anybody. But he was so desperate. He was so desperate for Jesus. He was willing to break the rules. He was willing to do whatever it took to get the healing that he needed in his life. And you know, some of us are here like that this morning. Some of you guys are going through things right now in your life. Things are falling off. There's pain, there's brokenness, there's fear, there's hopelessness, there's discouragement. And you're just like that leper, and you're looking at Jesus in the distance. You're coming to church, and you're like, man, I need that, and I know I need it because I can't do this on my own. Imagine, Ryan, being a leper and knowing there's no cure. There's nothing I can do about this on my own. And in the distance, you see Jesus. You know that that's your answer. You know that that's your solution, but you're going to have to start taking some steps. I want you guys to understand, when you feel a distance from Jesus, it's not because he moved. Amen? Everybody turn to your neighbor and say, it's you. So if we're the ones that's moved away, it's up to us to choose to be the ones, amen, Shakita, to come back. And so we start that 50 steps. We've kept that distance from Jesus, and now we realize that this morning. I need you guys to be with me here this morning. So first, it's 49, 48, 47. I'm sick of this. I'm sick of this distance from Jesus, man. I got to have him. I'm willing, this offense, this thing that I haven't forgiven, this bitterness in my heart, I'm going to give it up. I'm going to give it up because it's caused this gap between me and Jesus. 37, 36, 35, that fear of what's going to happen in my life if I surrender it to Jesus. I don't care anymore. I don't care anymore because I'm sick of being sick. I'm sick of not feeling anymore. 28, 27, 26, 25, that thing in my life. These priorities that I put in my life, whether it's sports or career or relationships, those things that I put in front of God, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm putting Jesus back in his rightful place. I'm putting him number one, no matter what it costs me. 17, 16, 15. You know what? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start doing those things for Jesus. I'm going to start living for Jesus. I'm going to be an athlete for Jesus. I'm going to be a worker for Jesus. I'm going to do everything I am for Jesus. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, that pride. That pride that's kept me distance from Jesus. It says I can do it without Jesus. I'm done with that. I'm coming to Jesus. No matter what it takes. 2, 1. 50 steps. Everybody say, I've arrived. I'm arrived. But you know what, Jaheem? The healing didn't come at the 50th step. We can come to church. We can stop at 50. We can come to church and miss our healing. We can come to church and miss our miracle. We can come to church and miss our breakthrough. We can come to church and miss the whole thing. We're not going to get healed like this. Mark chapter 1 says, the 51st step was here. And he begged him. And he got within arm's reach of him. And he said, Jesus, if you're willing, heal me. What was Jesus' answer? I'm willing. Gary, he got within arm's reach of Jesus Christ. He was willing to give up all of those things, all of those fears, all of those things that were keeping him back from Jesus. And he was willing to come to that point of proximity to Jesus and to fall on his knees. Everybody say surrender. Surrender. And a point of surrender, say whatever it takes, whatever I've got to give up. You know, I still remember when I committed my life to Christ and you know, at that point, I've shared with you guys, I'd lost my relationship with my wife. I'd lost everything that was important in my life. And I truly feel like that the reason God answered my prayer in the radical way that he answered is the way that I prayed. And I'm not saying this pridefully. I want to just share this. Every now and then we do something right. Amen? And when I got on my knees before Jesus at that altar that night at that church, I said, God, even if you don't bring my wife back, even if you don't do any of those things, I don't care. I'm giving my life to you. Don't come to God with ultimatums. Come to Christ with surrender. Yeah. Whatever it takes. At the risk of your life. The leper could have lost his life, but he was willing to risk it all to come to the feet of Jesus and find the healing that he was looking for. Ooh, listen to what happened now. He reached out his hand and he touched the man. Everybody say he touched him. He said, I am willing, he said, and be clean. And immediately, everybody say immediately. Immediately the leprosy left him and he was cleansed. Children of God, that's what we want to give you the opportunity to do this morning. I'm going to ask you, girls might come up, please. Guys, you want to get Defender rewinded and get it ready to go, please? The most critical thing in our life is our relationship with Jesus Christ. Church attendance is great, and that'll help get us there. Doing things for God is great, and that'll help get us there. But taking time daily, Jimani, coming at the feet of Christ, making sure, guys, we need to do proximity checks, don't we? Am I close enough where Jesus can reach out and touch me? So every day, because, guys, that's where we make that mistake. That's where we make that mistake so many times, guys, is that we think it's a one and done. One time I asked Jesus Christ to be the Lord of my life. I'm done. That's going to get you to heaven if you meant it. But you're going to have hell on earth if you're not coming to Him every day. Amen. Amen. Jesus said, I've come to give you life and life more abundant. John chapter 10, verse 10. But Wes, we're only going to find that at the feet of Jesus. When we stay close. Jeremiah 29:11, man, he says, I've got an amazing plan for you, Jacob. Shelby, I've got a plan to bless you, to prosper you, to make your life awesome. But man, if you're staying 50 foot away from me, you're outside my plan. I want to call you myself this morning. Jesus is saying, I want to reach out and heal you. I want to reach out and give you the things that you've been needing. As the music plays this morning, guys, this is be a little different than what we normally do. We're going to open this altar up. And I want you to imagine in your mind's eye, as you hit that altar, you're coming to the feet of Jesus. And I want you to know that as you do that, there will be a hand that's reaching out. And I don't care what addiction, I don't care what relational issue, I don't care what financial issue, I don't care what health, and I shouldn't say I don't care, I'm going to say it doesn't matter. What it is no other than leprosy. Amen? And Jesus' answer to you is going to be the same as it was to that leper. Are you willing, Jesus? I am. If you're wondering how he's going to answer that question, do we need any other reminders? I asked Jesus, how much do you love me? And he said this much. And he stretched out his arms and he died. The most important thing is relationship with Jesus Christ. Amen. As the music plays this morning, because find yourself there. Even if it's in your pew right now, in your mind's eye, come before the feet of Jesus. Don't let anything distract you. Don't let anything mess you. Understand the distance that you are from Jesus this morning. Ain't nobody being judgmental. We've all been distanced from Jesus. We're not looking around. We don't need to know. That's between you and Jesus. Amen? But don't leave here without being touched by his healing hands. As the music plays, would you mind starting that for us? guys, we love y'all so much. And listen, man, we're not trying to play church games. We just don't have time for that stuff, man. We're talking about a real Jesus who loves you so much, who wants to bless your life. And this is a way to do it. Just to take time at his feet every day. Every day do a proximity check. Am I within reach? Am I within reach of my healing? Have I let pride or anything else cause distance? And he fix it. That point of surrender, right? That 51st step. Get there every day.
Amen.
And I challenge you to see how your life turns out after that. Look at the difference it makes in your life. What kind of difference did it make for that leper? How did he walk away? Amen. Brand new life.